Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. It is week 2 of Me Made May, and for me this year that means it is week 2 of creating my dream wardrobe. This week it is all about sharing my vision of where I would like my wardrobe to be. If you didn't catch the first video in this series, I'll put a link to it up here and down in the description box. But in week 1, I was looking at defining my current style. I came up with 3 words to define my current style, which were soft, colorful, and timeless. This week, it's all about looking forward to what I would like my wardrobe to be. What is my dream? What is my vision for my wardrobe in the future? And I'm going to talk you through some Pinterest boards that I've made to share that with you. So this is the Pinterest board that I've created. I'm calling Me Made May 2024 Wardrobe Inspiration. It's currently secret, but I will make it public so you guys can have a look at it. I'll put it down in the description box if you're curious to take more of a look. I've broken it into different sections. Now, one way I decided to divide this up is I have a separate loungewear section. And that's just because I'm not necessarily expecting to wear the things that I'm going out and about in at home. It's just not realistic. And I wanted to have a vision of what I want to be wearing to feel comfortable and also feel good when I'm at home. You might be somebody who has different clothes when you're going to work compared to when you're just going about your day to day, and you might want to have separate boards for those kinds of things. So just to explain why I've broken those separately. But on the day-to-day wear, I then broke it down further. I have a section that I'm calling feminine details because there's a lot that sort of fit that category. I have a section called corduroy because I was noticing a lot of corduroy coming through, a section called velvet, a section called linen, and one that I'm calling colors. Now, I will say a lot of the colors will also be ones that I like in the images that I'm going to share in the other folders, but I feel like that's the main color palette that I want to try to gravitate toward. So I'm going to start by going through each of these sections of my board just to give you an overview of what they look like, and then I'm going to be pulling out common themes and talking about elements that I feel like I want to focus on as far as planning for my wardrobe. If we start with feminine details then, I feel like looking through here, it's fairly obvious to see what I'm referring to. So definitely I'm liking different kind of gathering details, little fullness in the sleeve, got another puff sleeve happening here and over here. I also just really like this as far as having a really nice drapey button-up shirt, and I'm digging the color of these trousers. If anyone knows what to call that color, let me know. It's almost a mustard yellow, but I feel like it's almost a little more greeny or chartreusey. But I have a whole variety. I've got like, quilted vests, which I like to wear with more of a frilly shirt underneath, which I think is an interesting design option. As far as jumpsuits, I'm loving this jumpsuit having the big full leg, but also having the nice puffy gathered sleeve, liking that it's fitted at the waist. Looking through then, I've got a lot of fairly fitted at the waist elements, but more of a kind of a loose drapey kind of vibe. So I really love this beautiful skirt. I love the fabric. I love the pattern on it. I love the floatiness of it. And I like it paired here with a sweater. I'm really liking a lot of the tiers that you'll be seeing on some of these dresses. Definitely, again, the light, the floaty, viscose is very much the vibe here. Loving this gathering detail in this dress, so it's just so much of this beautiful feminine gathering. I think it's a fairly clear vibe of the kinds of things that I'm talking about, and I definitely really like this kind of color palette as well. I'm liking the soft floaty top with a more structured trouser. I think that's a nice combination. I need to play around with that. Moving on then to the corduroy section. I know I wear a lot of corduroy, and so I was not surprised to see that I was liking a lot of the corduroy. So looking here, we've got some cool corduroy trousers. Again, it's that contrast of having a nice soft blouse with some frilly details with a cool corduroy trouser. Really love that look. I am loving this jumpsuit. This is not corduroy, this is a cotton twill, but I feel like it's very much the same kind of vibe, and a jumpsuit like that I think would be very much me and also really cool. Looking along, there's very much a 70s vibe here and there, some turtlenecks, which I do wear, some flared trousers, corduroy trousers. Again, this color, tell me what to call this color. I cannot find fabric like this. I think it is such a cool color. I really like this combination here of this kind of cute overall bib with this really beautiful feminine top underneath. And again, definitely a bit of a 70s vibe overall. I'm also really digging the wide leg. I think that's really nice to have with that puff sleeve on the top. And absolutely, I need a corduroy jumpsuit in my life. I think that is just so cool. I also found myself pinning a lot of velvet, which doesn't surprise me too much. I feel like velvet and corduroy, they're almost like brother and sister. I think they're very similar. They've got that nap to them, but velvet has that extra luxury and I think the extra femininity, which would be really cool to incorporate into my wardrobe. I don't have a ton of velvet, but I genuinely do love it. I would just want to be a little bit careful if I'm wearing anything on my top half. If I have like a dress or a blouse and it's a polyester velvet, it's not breathable. I get really sweaty and smelly and I know that I won't wear it. I have a dress that is a beautiful velvet dress, but I don't reach for it really very often for that reason. But I could definitely use a polyester velvet on my lower half, but definitely I can look into other substrate, so like cotton and silk velvets. This whole folder to me is just like the height of luxury and femininity. I mean, how gorgeous and soft and feminine and beautiful is that? And this blouse, this like loose fitted blouse that just kind of hangs. I feel like I love the softness that you're going to get generally from it. You'll get a little bit of your figure showing through because it's so nice and drapey. And velvet trousers, I mean, like how luxurious and elegant is that? That is just gorgeous. And I love the soft with the more hard denim top. Velvet jumpsuit, like I don't know how in my life I never considered that was an option. That just seems like everything. I also think having this like long line velvet shirt, it's like a velvet jacket worn over this dress. I mean, literally like all of this is just incredible. I really, really love the fabric on the dress and the colors, the color of this gorgeous rust velvet. I want this look in my wardrobe. There is generally a bit of a vintage in different elements, especially when you're bringing in this velvet, I feel like, but I definitely feel like 70s is probably the one that's shining through the most. And I do love me some linen, so definitely had to have some linen in there. The linen brings a bit of a billowiness, so not necessarily just soft and flowy, but you get a little bit of floaty structure as well. So like these wide leg trousers, I love that they almost look like a skirt. I think that is such a cool idea for a really nice lightweight linen. And this color is going to be so versatile. But like here you can see you get these beautiful soft gathers. The linen really creates that fullness there rather than the drapiness of the viscose or silk. I do love a whole head to toe linen look. I love the gather of the skirts. I'm loving the button up going all the way down both. And there's definitely some jumpsuits. Again, I do like to have a little bit of waist shaping, but I feel like this just looks so comfortable and also just really beautiful and elegant. There were definitely a lot of long skirts with gathers coming through. I mean, I had to have this because this is basically the peppermint pocket skirt, which is probably my favorite skirt that I have a couple of, but I really do love the style of it. I also really enjoy ones with buttons down the front and pockets on the front. I have the estuary skirt by So Liberated that I feel like fits that bill so well. I feel like with the linen, it tends to be solids, and I'm really digging the full solid, especially in something like a dress where you have this full top to toe look. I feel like that's just so beautiful. This is definitely getting into the more kind of floaty godliness, out in a field on a dreamy summer's day, very much the life that I want. Now, a lot of those actually had the kinds of colors that I am reaching for, but I also created a separate board just to be really clear on the colors that I would like to incorporate. I feel like this rich chocolate brown linen, that is not a color that I've seen much of, but I feel like it is really beautiful. If you've seen this kind of color linen, especially if it's more of like a medium to lightweight, please let me know, especially if you're in the UK. But here I've got my general color palette. So in general, I do think my season, as it were, is a deep autumn. I don't really worry too much about that, but I feel like these are definitely colors that I really like. But I feel like that can be expanded, and certainly like a mustard yellow. I do love like a petrol blue and green. But moving on, I also really love a beautiful, deep, rich red and this kind of muted rose pink color as well. I am a big fan of like a bold color contrast, and I like that these are all solids and just popping so beautifully. I do love a pink and red moment, so pink and red are definitely combinations that I do often pair together in my wardrobe. So I feel like you get a bit of a vibe. It's definitely very autumnal looking, very warm, and very much the colors that I generally do like to wear. Now, I wanted to work systematically through some questions to pick out what are some common themes with the things within this wardrobe. I'll be putting these in the community post as well to accompany if you want to ask yourself these questions. But to start with, I wanted to look at what silhouettes, what shapes, what kind of fit am I seeing generally throughout my mood boards. And definitely I was seeing a lot of button front, so whether that's a button-up shirt or a button-up skirt. I also was seeing lots of what I'm calling the feminine details, so very much lots of gathers, lots of shirring elastic, lots of ruffles, and that is something that I have been talking about wanting to get into my wardrobe. I feel like tops and blouses with those kinds of feminine details with the drapier fabrics, they work really well under overalls and pinafores, but they also work really well just over like corduroy trousers or jeans. But then also I could wear them with like a linen skirt or linen trousers for work. It's just very much crosses like all the things that I need my daily wardrobe to do. Across the board, there was a lot of what I would call gentle waist shaping. So a lot of elastic at the waist or ties at the waist to bring things in, but not necessarily being super tight and fitted. If it's trousers, happy for those to be generally more fitted and a flat front where possible. Going definitely for the high waist, I know is very much my style at the moment, and I could see that in these mood boards. I did notice a common theme as well with the dresses and the skirts that I was pinning. I tended to really like the ones that were more of a midi or a maxi length, and I feel like that was just really allowing it to be really full, have a lot of volume, and feel very floaty at the bottom of the skirt, which I know is something that I really enjoy. As far as the fabrics and the textures that were repeating throughout the looks that I liked, definitely linen did have to have its own board because there's a lot of linen that I really liked. Same with the corduroy. I was surprised to see all the velvet, so that was an interesting one, and I think particularly velvet with some drape to it. Similarly, when we're getting into the drapey, there was definitely a lot of viscoses or lightweight cottons really, and that kind of feminine vibe that I'm going for. And I didn't see a ton of jersey and knit and stretch fabrics, but they were here and there present, which I feel like kind of reflects where my wardrobe tends to go as well. As far as the prints and the colors that I was seeing throughout, if there was print, it was pretty much always floral, which did not surprise me. I know that I love a floral. I feel like a lot of the floral prints that I was seeing as well had some really incredible colors coming into it. So there were definitely some standout colors that I was seeing in either like solids, but also in the florals that I liked. I would say the key ones were a lot of pink, a lot of brown, a lot of green, mustard yellow, and red. And I feel like that very much fits in with my deep autumn vibe, so my deep autumn color palette that I know that I love. Getting into the styling of these looks, so talking about like the hair, the accessories, the shoes, mostly everyone in these looks had their hair down. If their hair was up, it was usually quite a soft hair up, like a messy bun kind of situation, which is generally what I do or what my hair tends to do when I put it up. So that does fit with my own just like lifestyle. As far as accessories, one thing that I did see coming through that I think would be super useful to have is a nice brown bag. So I probably wouldn't go for leather, maybe like a faux leather bag. I think a darker brown or a mid brown would probably be the most useful and versatile and definitely fit in with my palette. As far as footwear, there were definitely a lot of sandals, but that is obviously only going to be appropriate for certain times of the year. I did also see quite a lot of trainers, gym shoes, but also the thing that I really loved was the knee-high boots. Brown knee-high boots I feel like would slot in perfectly into this vision board. A typical outfit in this look would be a floral silk blouse with a mandarin collar and a gathered sleeve with some corduroy trousers. And then this is where I think the questions get a little bit more silly, a little bit more playful, and much less objective. So it's more about what you are seeing from these images. So the first question I want to ask myself is, what do these clothes that I'm seeing say about the person wearing them? So I would say this woman is cool, but very comfortable. She's arty, she's definitely very feminine and romantic, a bit playful, very bold, very confident, maybe works in the city and likes to have a weekend away out in the country. And where does it look like my gal is going? I could 100% see her working in a cool office where everyone goes for drinks afterwards. I could see her very much in an art gallery or in a used bookstore. She could be going to a garden party, a country walk. But the one that I feel like is just perfect for all of the images that I was seeing is going out for brunch, having a nice brunch with the friends, probably having a drink, definitely having a lot of laughs. And then putting this all together, coming up with a couple of sentences that I feel like epitomize this look. This graceful woman is effortlessly cool and enjoys the simple pleasures in life. She's not afraid to stand out in a crowd and has a strong sense of fun and adventure. I wanted to come up with a name for this look that just encompassed all of the elements that would help me to remember what I'm trying to focus on if I'm buying fabric, if I'm buying patterns, when I'm doing my seasonal sewing plans, something that I can just keep looking back at that I felt like really brought in all these elements of the femininity, the floatiness, the 70s vibe, and I was trying to think of a playful, silly, cute thing to name it. Wasn't quite sure where to go, spoke to my husband, and he came up with, I think, the perfect descriptor for this look. Early autumn, late 70s, art college crush. I feel like that name definitely hits on so many of the elements of what I would like to have in my dream wardrobe. I am wearing the top that I feel like is the closest match to that overall look. This is the Rhapsody blouse by Love Notions in a really gorgeous viscose twill fabric. I want to get more things like this in my wardrobe, and I want to create that vision for myself. I want to quickly talk through my loungewear mood board, which is not going to be all the same questions, but just a bit of a brief summary of what I'm looking for. So looking through here, I feel like it is pretty obvious the kind of vibe that I'm going for. Definitely matching solids or even some jumpsuits. I'm loving the idea of having a jumpsuit as loungewear. I feel like that would just be super, super cozy. I'm still liking to have a little bit of shaping here and there, or at the very least a kind of a shaping at the waist and then maybe more of a cropped top. But I like all the looks of like long sleeve shirt and day shorts. I always thought was a really super cute combo. But also like long sleeve jersey, like a rib knit, textured knit are really nice. And double gauze, like a double gauze matching set for loungewear. Ugh. I love this where everything is just matching and just looks so together. I think the trends here are pretty obvious to see. So very much loving the textured fabric, whether it's a woven or a knit, but leaning more towards the knit fabrics for comfort for my loungewear. Definitely having a very cohesive look. And I think the overall vibe is casual, earthy chic. I want to say a huge thank you to anybody who has shared with me their 3 words that they have that describe their current style. But it would be so much fun if you guys can also help me see what your vision is like. If you have got a Pinterest board or a way of sharing what your inspiration looks like with me, please, please do. Whether that's down in the description box or dropping me an email or shooting me a DM over on Instagram. I want to share your vision and see where you're wanting to go. And it would be so much fun to hear the name that you have come up with for your style. So next week, I am going to be following this journey along by looking at my vision for my early autumn, late 70s art college crush and seeing what in my wardrobe fits with that, but also picking out things that I feel like really don't and aren't really working in my current wardrobe. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a wardrobe audit, pulling out items that I maybe want to get rid of, maybe I want to alter, and some things that I feel like I want to really highlight in my wardrobe. Once I've been able to do that, I can then think about where the gaps are. So the week after that, I'm going to be thinking about plans going forward, not in the short term, much more long-term goals of things that I want to incorporate into my wardrobe to create this vision. I hope you guys are having fun as I go along on this journey. I'm definitely not taking it too seriously. I'm having a lot of fun and having a lot of laughs as I'm creating my vision board. Please do let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if you are enjoying my video, if you're enjoying the series, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you want to catch up next week. See you then. Bye!